Hey, what's going on, folks? This your boy New Jack, coming at you live, making it hot once again. College football season is around the corner. I'm ready for some college football. So today, I'm going to give y'all my 2015 college football predictions. I'm going to predict which teams are going to win their divisions in each conference. Let's start with the SEC conference. The SEC East. I have the Georgia Bulldogs winning the SEC East. Running back Nick Chubb, who rushed for 1,547 yards last year. As a true freshman, I believe this year he's going to have another good year. Georgia has a really tough schedule. They play Alabama and Auburn. That's a tough schedule. Georgia's defense is ranked third in the SEC. So I believe Georgia is going to win the SEC East this year. The SEC West. I have the Roll Tide, the Alabama Crimson Tide, winning the SEC West. Quarterback Jake Coker will be the starting quarterback heading this fall. And Alabama once again had the number one recruiting class this year. Running back Derrick Henry will be their featured back this season. And Alabama's defense is ranked in the top 5 in college football. Inside linebacker Reggie Ragland turned down the NFL to come back and play for his final year at Alabama. I believe Alabama once again will be the team to beat in the SEC. So I have the Roll Tide winning the SEC West. So for my SEC championship game, looks like this. Alabama versus Georgia. This is going to be an interesting matchup. But toward the end, I have the Roll Tide defeating the Georgia Bulldogs. My final score prediction in this game, I believe the score will be Alabama 31, the Georgia Bulldogs 24. I believe Alabama will defeat Georgia by a touchdown. So I have Alabama winning the SEC championship. The ACC Conference. The ACC Atlantic Division. I have the Clemson Tigers winning the ACC Atlantic Division. I know a lot of people are picking Florida State to win that division, but I have news for you. Florida State doesn't have Jameis Winston anymore. There's no telling who their quarterback is going to be. And they lost some key defensive players to the NFL draft. Clemson at least has won 10 games in the last 4 years. Quarterback Deshaun Watson, who I believe is a top 5 player in college football, will have a good year this year for Clemson. He will be in the hunt to win the Heisman Trophy this year. Quarterback Deshaun Watson, if he can stay healthy. He tore his ACL last year, and I believe this year he will have a good year. And on defense, junior defensive end Shaq Lawson, I believe, is going to have a good year. And Clemson was ranked second in pass defense last year. So that's why I'm picking the Clemson Tigers to win the ACC Atlantic. So I have the Clemson Tigers winning the ACC Atlantic Division. The ACC Coastal Division. I have the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets winning the ACC Coastal Division. Of course, we all know that Georgia Tech lost to Florida State last year in the ACC championship game. And I was at that game here in Charlotte, North Carolina. They still have quarterback Justin Thomas. And I believe Justin Thomas will have a good year running that high-tempo option offense. Their defense kind of struggled last year, but hell, they're in the ACC conference. I mean, it really doesn't matter. Now, if they were in the SEC conference, we wouldn't even have this discussion. Their name wouldn't even be brought up in a championship game. I mean, moving right along. But I believe Georgia Tech will have another good year this year. And I really believe that they will be back in the ACC championship game again this year. So I have the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets winning the ACC Coastal Division. The ACC championship game. I have Clemson versus Georgia Tech. I will be at the ACC championship game again this year. In this game, I have the Clemson Tigers defeating the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. My final score prediction. I believe Deshaun Watson is going to have a field day. I believe the score will be Clemson 38, Georgia Tech 24. The Clemson Tigers 38, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets 24. So I have the Clemson Tigers winning the ACC championship game. Let's move on to the Pac-12 Conference. The Pac-12 South Division. I have the USC Trojans winning the South Division. USC, they are returning 14 starters from last year. Quarterback Cody Kessler headlines an offense that averaged 35.8 points per game last year. On the defensive side, even though they lost defensive tackle Leonard Williams, they still have a young, talented group on that defense. And I believe that they will perform very well again this year on the offensive side and on the defensive side. So I have the USC Trojans winning the Pac-12 South Division. The Pac-12 North Division. I have the Oregon Ducks winning the Pac-12 North Division. Quarterback Vernon Adams will replace Marcus Mariota at the quarterback position. Running back Royce Freeman will be in the Heisman hunt this year. I believe he will be a top 5 running back in college football this year. And as for the Oregon's defense, there's not much to say. Last year, they were ranked 80th in total defense last year. We all know that Oregon relies on their offense. If their offense scores over 40 points in a game, the game is pretty much over. So Oregon relies on their offense to win their games. So I have the Oregon Ducks winning the North Division. The Pac-12 championship game. USC versus Oregon. I cannot wait to watch this matchup. This is going to be a really good Pac-12 championship game. In this game, I have USC defeating Oregon. It's going to be a battle. It's going to go down the wire. My final score prediction in this game. USC 45, Oregon 38. I think the game will be tied 38-38 going into the fourth quarter. And USC is going to score a touchdown. And Oregon toward the end is going to try to score. And Southern Cal is going to stop them. But it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a really good game. This matchup here is what everybody in the West Coast wants to see. They want to see Oregon versus Southern Cal. And I believe this is going to be the championship game in the Pac-12. So I have Southern Cal winning the Pac-12 championship. And now, let's talk about the Big Ten. My Ohio State Buckeyes, the 2014-15 national champions. We are looking to two-peat this year, baby. Let's start with the East Division. And of course, I have my Ohio State Buckeyes winning the East Division. Running back Ezekiel Elliott, who I believe will win the Heisman Trophy this year. And there's no telling who our starting quarterback is going to be. With Braxton Miller coming back his senior year, we still have J.T. Barrett and 12-gauge Cardale Jones. So there's no telling who our starting quarterback is going to be. But it doesn't matter because any of these three can play the quarterback position. And on the defense side, cornerback Eli Apple, I believe, is our top defensive player. With safeties, Tavis Powell and Von Bell playing the safeties position. I believe our secondary is one of the best in college football. But they still have to go out there and perform. But I believe we will have another good year this year. So I have the Ohio State Buckeyes winning the Big Ten East Division. The Big Ten West Division. I have Wisconsin winning the West Division. Running back Corey Clement will replace Melvin Gordon at the running back position. He will be the workhorse in that backfield. And Wisconsin's defense were ranked 4th last year in college football. And I believe this year they will perform very well on that defensive side. They have a pretty good offense, and I believe they will have a good year this year. So I have Wisconsin winning the West Division. And now for the Big Ten championship game. Ohio State versus Wisconsin. The rematch from last year. Y'all remembered what happened last year in the Big Ten championship game when the Ohio State Buckeyes put the smackdown on the Wisconsin Badgers. 59-0 last year. But that was last year. I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think this time it's going to be a pretty interesting game. My final score prediction, and of course, I have the Ohio State defeating Wisconsin. My final score prediction, Ohio State 35, Wisconsin 24. Ohio State 35, Wisconsin 24. And of course, I have my Buckeyes winning this game. So I have the Ohio State winning the Big Ten championship. Moving on to the Big 12, and of course, the Big 12 doesn't have a championship game in college football, but we all know, for the ones that watch college football, that TCU is the heavy favorite to win the Big 12. And I'm picking them to win the Big 12 as well. So I have TCU winning the Big 12. And now I'm about to predict which teams I believe will make the college football playoffs. Let's start with the 4th seed. I believe TCU will get the 4th seed. The 3rd seed, I believe Southern Cal will get the 3rd seed. The 2nd seed, I believe Roll Tide. I believe Alabama will get the 2nd seed. And the number 1 seed, of course, I have my Ohio State Buckeyes getting the 1st seed. This is how my college football playoff bracket looks like so far. I hope y'all enjoyed this. There's more videos coming at y'all this week, so y'all stay tuned. But in the meantime, y'all take care. Enjoy the rest of y'all week. And make it hard.